Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Yorkshire Gamer's monthly Wargames update. And here we are in August 2024. It's been a relatively slow month, but there's still a few things to talk about. So let's go and have a look at what we've got painted. And from that initial preview clip there, I'm pretty sure you're not surprised at what the one thing that I've got painted. There are a few other bits in progress, but this is the one thing that I've got finished, and this is the Young Guard Battalion 28mm Elite Miniatures. And I've been working on this for a few months, just chipping away at the edges of it, concentrating on the ships, but got a bit of a spurt going on this and managed to get it finished off this afternoon. So let's just have a look at it. It's 32 figures, 28mm Elite Miniatures, as we've discussed earlier on. And I'll zoom in and we'll have a look at some of the bases individually. So here we go with base number one. And I'm based in the old-fashioned style, which is 15mm frontage per figure, and this fits in with classic old school Napoleonic war games. And I much prefer this look to the more modern Sabo base 20mm minimum per figure. I think this look gives a much better visual representation of how a shoulder-to-shoulder army would look. Yeah, it's not cheap, and no, it's quite time consuming to get these units done, but I really love this look, and this is how my 28mm Napoleonic arm is going to be. So it's a 60mm frontage with 8 figures on, but what I have done with this is I have included the normal slightly deeper bases that I prefer, and with the older sets of rules, the figures would be 20 by 20, and that would leave this musket here quite exposed. And with the Italian Risorgimento project that I did recently, I had all my figures on these deeper bases, but my skirmishes I put on 60 by 30s, and the musket was overhanging, and I've had loads of damage just from putting the game on at 2 or 3 shows. So for this project, I'm going to extend the front of my skirmish bases as well. So 4, probably a little bit bigger gap than you would normally get in between the ranks, but that's made it a little bit easier to paint. And this one's got 7 guys and a drummer. Then the other rear rank base is exactly the same format, but with a officer figure. We've got here again 60 by 40, and then this is the base that I'd finished last month, so you've already seen this one with the GMB flag. Very nice that is too. I know it's a bit big, but I don't care, it looks awesome. And then this is the base with a mounted officer on, and one of the kind of classic looks from Grand Manor and Elite Miniatures and others is the mounted officer in the front rank of a unit. And I wanted to carry that on. What people used to do is they would kind of have like an extended front just for the officer, and then it would angle back for the figures, but I much prefer that single depth figure. What I've done there with the with the drummer, is I've just brought him slightly forward of the other ranks. Fits in nicely with this little gap here with the figures. With the mounted figure, and it was a bit of a squeeze, but we got them all on. So I'll just zoom in if I can and have a closer look at these guys. I'm really happy with the faces on these. They look a bit flat on here. I don't know what it's going to look like on screen, but they've come out really, really well, and I'm more than happy with them. There's 3 or 4 colours on those, it just doesn't look like it on here. But there we go, and done little pretend eagles on the back of the kit as well. Zoom out a little bit there, just to give a little bit more definition. So there we go, that's the first battalion of old guards, young guard for my Plants in War project, and I'm going to start on another unit of Tyrolers very soon. Nothing else to show you. Finished. That's it for this month. So that was really quick. So let's have a kind of a unit together pose before we go. So there we have it. There is our battalion of Tyrolers, and I'm so glad I've done this. I really do enjoy Napoleonics, but I just can't paint 15 mil figures anymore. I'm really struggling with it. So this is what I've gone for, and it's a little bit mad starting Napoleonics all again in my mid to late 50s, but hell, let's do it. So let's have a look at Twk Progress. Twk Progress wise, I've got a couple of ships on the go that I haven't quite finished. See those next month. Just concentrated on getting that Young Guard battalion done. And then I've done this initial kind of test figure for the Prussians. As you can tell from the shiny coat, it's not been varnished at all. And just testing colours out, really, see where I want to go with the Prussians. It's a lot more basic uniform than the French Young Guard that I've just done. There's no piping on cuffs, etc. So it's just trying to get a nice look on it. Need a bit more work on the trousers there. That's not come out quite how I want it to. It's a little bit too much of a contrast there. And obviously I've used, to try and get a darker blue for the Prussian black as it was known, I've put a, just bring that up against those there, the French. I've put a dark wash over the top of the initial blue, something I don't normally do, and then highlighted it a little bit over the top, and that's given me a really deep dark blue compared to the French, and that's kind of the look that I was after. Contrasts quite strongly with the facings on there, which are lemon yellow for Silesia. So yeah, that's okay. It's not a bad first test figure. That I'll botch the trousers a little bit more, blend it in when I do the rest of the unit, and exactly the same as the Young Guard. This is going to be 32 figures, and these are Perry's plastic Prussians. I haven't mixed any metals in with these. I will do with some later battalions, but that is my Twk Progress. How much? Not a lot at all this month. As I said earlier on, it's quite a steady away month. I think it was Steve from PCP who bought some of these. The 1/32 scale World War II infantry. And I picked a couple of boxes up, one American and one German for a £5 off Tinterwebnet. So I bought a German Panzer Grenadier and a US Western European. God knows, I might do some. Well, I've built one. I'm going to build it and paint it and see what it looks like, and see if it enthusiasms me to do some of that skirmish gaming that everyone talks about. Now, the World Cup of Historical Wargames Miniatures is over, and this next bit has got absolutely nothing to do whatsoever with Victrix winning. So, I have, as a number of people have got, the Medieval Knights from Victrix, and I'm going to do kind of an unopening. And oh, there's 18. I thought there was only 12. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, there we go. That's quite good going. So I'm going to do an unboxing. Well, an unbagging, a debagging, if you remember that from primary school, of those at a later stage. But they've come in from Victrix. A lot of people have had them to review, and my original set didn't arrive, genuinely didn't arrive. So these have just arrived now, just to coincide with Victrix winning the World Cup, but there we go. And they sent me some decals as well to go on those. So do a full feature on those in due course. I'll probably paint one or two up, put them on a base, and then I can do comparisons with some of the other knights that I've got. So a pretty steady away and slowish month on the how much, but there's stuff going on. So once again, it's time to look at scores on the doors, and just my personal look at Yorkshire Gamer and the various places I do stuff, and it helps me when I go back and look at these just to see how far we've come. So Facebook up 92, 2863, a lot of interest with the World Cup of Wargames manufacturers, more about that in a moment. Twitter's God knows what's going on there at the moment. I've been up and down like a who's draws. Just over 3,000, and I've gone over 3,000 three times in the last 3 weeks and keep dipping back down again. So God knows, but there we go. Instagram up 8, 3676, just very, very steady away numbers on there. If you post every day, it grows quite quickly, but I just can't keep up with everything and life as well. YouTube's up 566, which is lovely. Sorry, that's not up 566, is it? It's up 66. Yeah, which is about normal. I thought I'd done really well then. I haven't. Podcast up 4. Just keeps ticking away nicely. If you do get a chance, give us a follow, a like, and a review anywhere with the podcast. And we'll talk very shortly about the new episodes that are out at the moment. Facebook group up 308 again to 4,345, which is quite a lot. Again, World Cup of Wargames figures manufacturers helped a lot with that. If you are trying to sell me Warhammer stuff or 3D printing, just don't bother, because I'm not interested. And everyone who even smells of 3D printing gets banned. There's some big, lovely companies out there, but unless you're prepared to print them off, paint them, show me what they're going to look like, I'm not interested. I'm not buying off the basis of a render on a screen. Just me, just my group. Podcast downloads, we're on 149,222. So we're just shy 780 off 150,000. Just say that again, 150,000 people have listened to the podcast, and they keep coming back, which is even more surprising, but there we go. And then the little bump on Blue Sky 254, don't really do a lot on there, but it's there, and there are other people on it who interact as well. So let's take a little bit of a trip down what's been happening with the podcast, etc., on other areas of Yorkshire Gamer. So we've had a couple of podcasts out since the last month's episode, and the first one is with Greg and Miles of Little Wars TV. I'm sure you're all familiar with, and Little Wars TV's had a bit of a break, and they're back on air, and they're also expanding their clubhouse, which, if you haven't seen it, go and give the channel a look, 'cause it's absolutely amazing. And I got Greg and Miles on the show. They volunteered themselves to represent the Little Wars TV crew, and we had a chat for a couple of hours about everything wargaming and everything Little Wars TV, and we got a sneak preview of what their new building was going to be, but they've already released it now, so it's nothing special. My second one was with Trevor Dixon from Dixon Miniatures. Now, those of you who have been around in the hobby for a while will be well aware of Dixon Miniatures, and they are one of the absolute staples of the hobby, and their samurai figures and American Civil War were absolutely groundbreaking at the time and still look great today. I saw recently some of the samurai painted up by an inverted commas modern painter, and they look the absolute business. I travelled over to see Trevor. He's not far away, in a place called Honley near Holmfirth, and we sat down for an hour and had a chat about his time in Dixon Miniatures, and he tells me he missed the best bits, so I'm going to have to go back next year and get all them. The World Cup of Historical Wargames Miniature Manufacturers came to an end, and the final was between Perry Miniatures and Victrix, and to many people's surprise, Victrix were the winner. Perry's shot off like a stabbed rat in the first few hours and the first day of the voting, but then Victrix slowly came up and drew level and then pulled away towards the end of the competition. So that's the World Cup done. Well done to Victrix. And for no other reason that it just happened to be lying around on the table while I'm doing some sorting out, we finish with my Iranian, I think. No, Syrian hind, which I've got for some Arab Israeli stuff, and that's the other one. Oh no, the other one's over there, and it's the old old McDonald's farm helicopters, because I've got EIE on this one and EIO on the other one, which is a dreadful joke, I know, but it made me laugh when I did it. So there we go. Hope you have a great month wargaming, and September started to come back into shows after the summer break, and I'll be at the other Partisan and Fiasco, and I can't remember the name of it now. Oh, it's a show in the northeast, Battleground. We're at Leon's Battleground up in the northeast very soon as well. So until next time, see you.